Hey everybody, welcome back to Astronaut Lounge. I'm Poppa Stonks. Today we have MAXX Token. MAXX Token is an actual whole ecosystem. They are currently on BSC, and I believe the pre-sale for their each side just went live today on Pink Sale. Everybody check out the link, listen to the AMA, and maybe grab yourself a bag. Um, MAXX is also launching their own layer one proof of work blockchain. Power token is going to be what powers the blockchain. Uh, with that said, without telling the whole AMA myself, I'm going to introduce. We've got Nyan and we've got KP. These are the co-founders of Max Chain and Max Token. You guys want to introduce yourselves and for anybody that's missed the previous two AMAs, tell a little bit about yourselves and your experience in the space and how you came to start Max.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Papa, great to be here as always. I've been here a couple of times already, but a little bit by myself. My name's Nayan. I've been in the crypto space for a few years now. Traveled a lot in the BSC side, the Safe Moons, the EGCs, and stuff like that, and seen all the ups and downs, and learned a lot over the last few years. Met KP. We've been investing a lot of the same things, and have built a good friendship over that time. We came across last year. We came across through one of our mutual friends in the space, Palm and Palm Chain. So got us excited seeing a cool new chain, up and coming chain. We thought we dip our toes in there and got ourselves pretty well invested in there. And we saw all the ups and downs in there. Um, Out of nowhere, decided let's try to do what we can to help and promote and kind of use what we've learned to bring more people to the chain. So we started our own project there. Well, I had started it, and then KP had joined me afterwards. um, Basically use what we learned in terms of other projects and what they've done over the past few years, what we've seen, what they've done right, what they've done wrong, try to mimic that, and then also tie in my real world experience. I'm a professional accountant here in Canada. I've been working for one of the top companies here in the country for the last over 10 years now. So I have a lot of business and managerial experience, and something that I thought I could bring to the table, and see what our strengths and weaknesses are, and kind of attest to that, and try to find others that can help us build. And that's what we did with Max, to help bring people to the chain. So our initial plan was always to launch on Palm Chain, and then as well as BSC and ETH, and kind of help bridge people to the new chain and bring more eyes onto the chain. And of course, as things went on, we saw what happened. Things kind of went south with the chain, and they decided to do what they wanted to do, and we tried to do what we can to help the community that was there, as well as our holders. We had a great holder base on Palm Chain. And KP and myself worked hard over the last literally 3 weeks. We went from a project on chain to a project building our own chain. So in the last 3.5 weeks, we kind of came together, put our minds together, put down a roadmap, and rallied a lot of the community here behind us. And here we are now. We have our BSC token launched, our ETH tokens in pre-sale right now, and our chain is currently on testnet, and Faucet is live, and we'll have our mainnet out as well shortly. So things are moving along, and things are looking good there.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
KP, yeah, KP, you
Yep.
want to? Okay, thank you.
Well, Nine kind of said the whole story there, but yeah, my name is I go by KP. My name is Kevin. As Nine said, we've known each other for quite some time. My experience in the space has been around since pretty much end of 2016. Mainly, I was in Bitcoin and Ethereum. That was kind of my introduction into crypto. And then I eventually moved into DeFi with my first play was kind of SafeMoon was my first introduction to the DeFi space. It's also where I met Nine, and then we just co-invested in a lot of projects on the BSC side for some time, and obviously stumbled upon an opportunity, thinking that wow, here's a layer one blockchain that we could potentially get in on the early on the ground. with Palm Chain. And as Nyan said, the story there, we pretty much went from investors to him launching a project on chain, to then that project, kind of manifesting into becoming one of the better projects on that chain, to then being thrown a curveball that they were going to relaunch that chain, and then obviously allowing us to have to really pivot quickly and decide, what's best for the community that we had already built, and what was best for the future of our project. And then, we just decided there and then that, what, we've seen so many things not done right in the way we probably think this should have been done. So why not just proceed with launching our own chain and, trying to bring a community with us that we had already built, and continue to grow this into something that we feel like we can, do better and make it a better experience for a lot of the investors. So that's what brings us to today. Our Ethereum pre-sale is up right now for our MAXX token, which ties into the ecosystem and as well as to the chain itself, and we can discuss more about that. And a lot of our utilities, within 3 weeks, we've put in a stellar website out there. I suggest everybody to check out the website. This is not kind of your run-of-the-mill website, for a crypto project. This really is a complete, extensive resource that is geared for investors and developers as well as projects, kind of an all-in-one solution. So it's very resource rich. So we're pretty excited with where we are right now at this point.
Awesome, man. And yeah, pretty excited for this pre-sale myself. Let's talk about the token itself a little bit. Let's talk about MAXX token. And right now you guys are currently on BSC. What's the tokenomics on that?
So on the BSC side, we have, just hold on a second. Sorry, I was just wanted to open the white paper so I don't give any wrong information on this. KP, you want to jump in while I just open this up here?
Yeah, I believe the buy and sell tax is 6 and 8%, with regards to the taxes that are on there. I think Nine's getting ready to give you the rundown on the numbers in terms of supply and what was burnt and what's set aside and what's utilized for what.
Yeah, so I got the information from me here. I didn't want to give anything that was wrong, so I apologize for that. We are going to give you some more information on the ETH side shortly. It's something KP and myself were actually talking about this morning. I mean, as always, we're always looking at ways to improve and make things better. But in terms of the BSC side, we wanted to initially match what was launched on the Palm side. So we initially minted 2 billion tokens with the intention to burn 1 billion and keep some aside in case we needed for bridge and whatnot. And this is back on the Palm chain side. So if you look at our updated white paper, you'll see that what we had initially at launch versus what we have right now that we're going to be implementing going forward. The tokens currently that are held by holders is about 22% of the 1 billion supply that we intended to have. And we currently have about 20% of the 1 billion that's staked, which is very good in terms of what we have on the BSC side. We'll touch on the staking platform on the BSC side a little bit after, and then we have about 14.5% in LP. We are going to have over the 1 billion initially that we burned. We are going to have an additional 284 million, which is 28% that we're going to be sending to the burn wallet. So we're trying to reduce a lot of that supply so that it just it makes it a little bit more enticing for holders and makes it a little bit more attractive, make the price a little stronger, of course. We are holding a small a marketing wallet of the 50 million tokens, and that's just used for promotional purposes as we move forward. And finally, one of the biggest aspects that we're going to have that kind of pushes our token in the future with one of our future utilities, we're keeping 10%, which is 100 million tokens aside for Ignite QR. We had touched on this utility in the past, and I think we'll go over that a little bit today. Across the 3 tokens and all 3 chains, we are actually allocating 100 million tokens for this platform, and all of it will be going back to the users of the platform as rewards. So it's something that's there to help engage the users and reward them for their word of mouth engagement. That's something KP can talk about a little bit later.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So the burning of the 1 billion, that was, just to match the palm side, right?
Yeah, so I still have to. I think I still have about 400 million that I need to burn, which I was planning to do at the same time as ETH launch, just to get everything aligned on that front. But again, the reason why we kept such a big supply and of the 2 billion at launch was because of the meme connect bridge. We weren't sure at that time if we needed to allocate tokens for the bridge, or if it would have been a mint and burn. But now, since we're doing everything on our side and we have our own MAXX bridge, it's a mint and burn function, so we won't need that entire extra supply. So we want to ensure that all 3 supplies will be less than 1 billion tokens.
Okay. So yeah, so with the bridge, are you going to be launching? Are you going to be trying to match the LP on the east side at launch to the BSC side?
Yeah, exactly.
And
So with the BSC side at launch, basically 51% of the raise went to LP. And we're looking to do the same thing on the ETH side. Now it really depends if we hit, the BSC side, we did a fair launch. So we had a soft cap to 50 BNB, and we actually finished with 168, which is well above the soft cap, of course. And I think right now we're sitting at about 130 or 140K market cap with about 30 to 35 KLP. I could be wrong. I need to double check those numbers. But we're looking to, of course, have something similar on the ETH side at launch. But again, it really depends on what the raise is, and if we hit the 20 ETH soft cap or the 40 ETH hard cap, it really changes things if we're going to be allocating half of that to LP.
yeah, definitely. And when at launch, is the bridge going to be live and people are going to be able to arb between the two?
No. So the intention for the bridge is to have it launch, have the bridge available once all 3 tokens are launched. So the bridge will not be live until after our mainnet is launched, which is right now slated for the first week of June. And our token on MAXX chain is launched. So we want all 3 tokens to be live, and once all 3 are live, we'll open the doors there. There's going to be no penalties to switch between chains, except for the small fee that'll be on the bridge itself.
Okay, so you will have you'll have 3 pairs. You'll have MAXX BNB, MAXX ETH, and MAXX Power.
Exactly.
Okay, and you're going to have a mint and burn on going between all 3 of those. So tell us a little bit about Power, and obviously you're going to be running another pre-sale. So when you run this pre-sale, what is it going to be raised in?
So we're going to be doing a raise. KP, do you want to touch on that, or do you want me to continue?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, so for Power, we're going to be doing a raise in house within our community via Google form, and sending in stables either in BUSD or USDT for a rate of the price pre-sale price of 0.0008. We have allocated 100 million power coins for that, so it's roughly $800 for 1 million. The supply there for Power is 1 billion. So obviously, 10 million would equate to like a 1%, obviously, bag. But we're limiting each wallet to 3 million. So contribution there to ensure that we don't, have anybody get stacked too much on it. As far as the listing price, when we do list PowerCoin on the CX, it's going to actually list at a 0.001, which is basically, like 1/10 of a fraction of a cent. So there is a 20% discount there with regards to the pre-sale. for whoever does engage with it. The funds for the pre-sale obviously will aid with LP that we will be also putting into the CEX and so forth. And when it comes to PowerCoin, it's the native blockchain coin, right? So I mean, it's going to be utilized, pretty much throughout the entire ecosystem for all the projects and all the pairs. If there's an NFT marketplace, obviously that NFT marketplace that we may negotiate with, which I'm actually speaking with one right now to take us on and add our native coin there. So, if projects want to launch NFTs and so forth, their collections can be listed on that actual marketplace. And then you'll just need PowerCoin in order for you to go transact and trade and sell NFTs and whatnot. But, the tokenomics with regards to Power right now, it is a pre-mined since we're proof of work. Our coin will be mineable. It's an EVM mineable coin. So it's a 1 billion supply. We're burning 270 million at 270 million of it. There is 100 million that will be going off for the pre-sale. There is about 7 or 8 projects from the old Palm chain and developers that have decided they're going to relaunch and redeploy their own projects back on MAXX chain. So we've actually offered to match their LP that was basically there when trading finished. So there's some allocation there for Power Coins for that LP for all those projects, so they can redeploy their actual and it gives them the opportunity to change things up too if they want to change the name or change their contract a little bit and whatnot. So some flexibility. Then with regards to the old holders of Palm Chain, we took a snapshot of basically 5,000 wallets. Now, when we were on Palm Chain, I think our holder base for the MAXX token there was roughly in the 200 to 250 range. So it's not like we had captured every single Palm holder as an actual holder within our MAXX token, when it was there. So I'm almost positive, not a lot of people really do know that we did offer kind of an olive branch out for a snapshot of a 1-to-1 old Palm coins for Power Coins. But nevertheless, we did take a snapshot of all the holder base, which equated out to, I think, roughly 400 million Power Coins. And as of right now, we have a document within our Telegram group that you have to actually submit your wallet for eligibility, that your wallet is included in the dashboard that we release for when you are ready to claim your 1-to-1 ratio. And as I suspected, out of the 400 million so far, only about 100 and what is it, Nyan, that we saw? About 120 million so far?
130.
Only about 130 million have so far been confirmed eligible. And that deadline ends on Monday. So that will kind of give us a better idea out of that supply, how much will be eligible for actual claiming. And then whatever is not claimed is actually going to be sent to the burn wallet. In addition with the 270 million that we're burning right off the bat.
Okay, so right now, as it is, how much is going to be going? So these people are going to be claiming they're going to be getting power in their wallet, but in order for them to sell it, they're going to have to transfer it over to the CEX where it is listed.
Yes,
how much?
Correct.
How many tokens are going to be going into the CEX as initial liquidity?
That's still in discussion because we're talking to the CEX right now. Because we have out of the total supply, we currently allocated about 150 million tokens for a treasury. Now that those are the amounts that we're going to be using for CEX listings going forward. So we're currently in negotiations and we're trying to find out, once we get a better understanding of how many coins are actually going to be going out to previous holders, and we'll do some calculations to see what works best and kind of figure out the best plan with them. Of course, as the more coins that we provide to CEX, the more we have to add in liquidity, and that all depends on the raise as well. So there's a lot of little factors that are going in here, but it's something we're keeping close tabs on, and once we do get that information, we'll be able to release that to the public.
Okay. So far we've got 150 in the treasury, got 270 million being burned right off bat. You got 100 million in the pre-sale. You've got 400 million that's allocated for the snapshots, and anything that is not claimed is going to be burned. That leaves ends the unknown amounts for the LP allocations, for the other projects. That leaves about 100 million to be that's actually going to be mineable. So how is this
Well,
mining rate
no,
going to work?
not not necessarily because it's proof of work. So and basically with this, we're starting with a minted supply of 1 billion, but the miners are going to be increasing that supply. So it's inflationary, right? So as the miners go on, the supply is going to go up. But with our on-chain utilities, which we'll get into, I'm guessing, we're going to have several areas in which we're going to be burning power coin as well to kind of combat that inflationary aspect.
Right, and the
Okay.
previous block rewards from Palm Chain were nine coins minted per 15 seconds. We decided that that was a little bit too much, so we reduced it to 5. So it's going to be 5 coins per block, every 15 seconds. So that does, I mean, I think I can't remember what the calculation was on an annual basis, in terms of how much supply would enter the market, from mining, in a year, but it was somewhere in the vicinity of like 10 million. But with the mechanisms that we have in place, through our staking D apps on all 3 MAXX tokens, there will be burn mechanisms there, and then also through our swap, the fees that we collect, a portion of those will actually go to burn. The bridge is going to have a fee. Portion of that fee is going to burn power coin. So we feel pretty confident that with some of the areas that we have included these deflationary mechanisms, it will combat the actual inflationary mining that's going on.
Yeah. And do you guys plan to have like halving cycles, kind of like Bitcoin?
No, because we did not mint a predetermined supply. We don't have a predetermined like hard supply of only so many available coins. Ethereum was kind of the same way that way. So I mean, it's just the actual EVM that we forked off of Ethereum, on how it actually works with it.
Okay. So as far as, the burn and everything goes, that's kind of dependent on, volume on the chain. Um, if volume was to be slow and people were just mining Powercoin like crazy, how do you plan to, combat the sell pressure on the actual chain token?
So we do have, other than the burn mechanisms in place, like for example, with the ETH and BSC tokens for MAXX, they play a crucial role in that as well because the tax revenue that's actually generated from those 2 tokens, individuals will buy the tokens, they'll stake, and there's also other utilities they'll be able to make use of. But the taxes generated on the ETH and BSC sides are all going to be collected, transferred over to the CEX, and actually be used on a consistent basis to purchase PowerCoin. And then that in turn goes back towards the holders on the BSC and ETH sides, because one of the main aspects there is to help bring people onto the chain. So individuals that stake on those platforms will be able to stake on BSC and ETH, while doing so, they're going to be earning native power coin, the native chain coin through that staking. So all this is going to go back to producing consistent buys in the chart. And of course, we need all the cogs to be running here. So right now we just launched the BSC token. We're just launching the ETH token. And for a lot of people seeing it, this is just the beginning of it, but those are the puzzle pieces necessary in order to get the entire ecosystem in play. And for us as a blockchain, I mean, there's so many projects out there that develop a chain, come out with a chain, and then kind of remain a little stagnant because they don't have that activity. And that's something that everybody has to think of. However, what we feel like what we have going for us is we have a community already in terms of who's coming over with us. we have several projects and their utilities in which we're trying to take full advantage of. I mean, that's something that was done in the past. You know, a lot of what these developers made on the old chain were neglected, but these are some great tools that we're making full use of. And all these things are going to be live as of day one for new investors and projects to come into. We are talking to several projects that are interested in launching on chain once our mainnet is live. So for us, it's all going to be one step at a time. You know, do things properly, not rush anything, but make sure we do it in a sense that we keep growing and we keep growing at a constant pace that allows us to keep earning revenues and pushing volume. So every project we bring in, you know, they can have a community of a couple hundred, couple thousand people, you don't know, and that comes in and grows the ecosystem one project at a time.
Right, and
Yeah,
then one of the reasons why we also have decided to set up the timeline and how we're supposed to get to this mainnet launch. I mean, if you go to our website, you'll see that a lot of utilities are already there. They just need to get plugged in. You know, our swap is ready, our farms are ready, our pools are ready. You know, the bridge is ready. You know, we have Astro Spaces, which was a project on chain on Palm Chain that launched the Palmploy, which was a complete full-fledged launch pad that's getting completely redesigned and tailored to MAXX chain, and it will be called MAXXploy. And then along with that comes a full Web3 social media platform for all community members to be able to engage with and see projects on there, and you know, comment and vote platforms and everything. So I mean, we're talking like, you know, this is not like launch mainnet and then there's nothing tied to it, which is what we see with a lot of early blockchain coins. You know, they launch on BSC, they gear up for testnet comes out, mainnet comes out, and then it's kind of flat because they're waiting probably on projects to come and build the infrastructure that a chain requires for it to operate. But we're already doing that. So we've taken the role of the lead development team of building that infrastructure already and bringing all those puzzle pieces together of having a full-fledged launch pad available for developers and anybody that wants to actually go launch a project on our chain. All they have to do is go out in the CEX, buy some PowerCoin for their LP, come back in, go to the actual launch pad, and there's a step-by-step process on actually how to launch a token, lock your LP, then utilize and you know, our MAXX swap will be tied into that. So then obviously where you can go and, you know, swap your power for pair, you know, power for that token and so forth. So I mean, there's a lot of puzzle pieces that are already there. We're just pretty much putting everything together. You know, it's going to be one of those things that when we do go live with mainnet and are on the CEX, we're pretty much ready to go. And then Nine and I, our focus is not sitting there worrying about developing utilities for the chain anymore. We're then gearing up into a phase of business development, which requires, you know, building relationships with communities and other owners, founders of other projects on, you know, Ethereum and BSC with their projects, and trying to attract them and show them, hey, look what we have here. You know, let's talk and let's see, can we bridge you in? Are you willing to launch a new project on here? You know, we'll help you, we'll guide you, we'll show you the ecosystem on where to go, how to do it. And then obviously our website itself, if you go to our knowledge base, I mean, and tie into our Git books, you'll see that there's a complete extensive resource there for developers, for investors, and for projects in order for them to, you know, how do I launch a smart contract, or how do I do this, or how do I launch an NFT collection? I mean, all that stuff in there is already getting added in. Same thing for miners, you know, how to set up a node, how to actually mine, you know, all that stuff is available.
yeah. All right. So speaking of infrastructure, you know, you mentioned that there are some projects that are going to be, you know, going live with the mainnet. You want to touch on, you know, some of those utilities that they offer, because, you know, this kind of ties into the whole MAXX ecosystem, like you said, and helps, you know, with these tools and utilities, helps incubate other projects. So you wanted to kind of touch on those and, you know,
Yeah.
the teams behind them, and you know, how much volume are you expecting to see from these? Are the communities active?
Well, I mean, one of the, you know, a lot of those communities obviously are I wouldn't say dead, but yeah, obviously with the old Palm chain going down, there's a lot of disinterest. But we have kept in touch with those developers, and they were always there trying to push the project all the way to the end. Their communities are still intact in terms of their like telegrams. The activity might not be there, but I think that if they relaunch and redeploy, they can re-engage everybody back in, because what we've done is also taking snapshots of all those holders within those actual projects. So there's an opportunity for all those individuals to just, resecure their positions, once we go live on mainnet. Ken was one of the guys that was on our chain, and he launched Scorcher. Scorcher was one of his projects, and it was a very hot project on Palm chain. I mean, it almost hit, I think, $1 million in market cap, considering where the price of Palm was and the decline that the Palm coin had, due to the overvaluation of it launching at a 340 to $800 million market cap. It's just one of those things. But he had set up an amazing structure for Scorcher, because it was burning Palm. Every buy and sell tax was burning the actual native token of the blockchain, which we would love for him to reinstitute something like that, because that just aids into the additional deflationary mechanisms that we already have in place with our utilities. So I mean, we're going to work with these developers, and I mean, we want them to be innovative and creative and bring value to the chain. And the ones that have decided to come over with us, obviously we agreed to wanting to match their LP, and we felt like they did at one point add value to the old Palm chain. They just did not get their due, because they were considered a kind of a Wild West project and a non-supported project, from the actual Palm team. So yeah, Scorcher was one of those, and he had an NFT collection as well that was tied in with extra burning and utilities and so forth, and rewards for holders. I touched upon Astro Spaces, which pretty much an entire full-fledged launch pad that is impressive, and as well as the entire Astro Spaces platform, which is Web3 social media for where you connect your wallet and you can tie into the actual the actual social media aspect and do your voting and whatnot and all that stuff. We have Memeship, which used to be a meme coin on there, but he offered a portfolio tracker that if you owned, a small supply of it wasn't anything excruciating for their holders, but their portfolio tracker gave you pretty much on-chain, an on-chain view to your holdings and the actual value of those holdings. So he has a pretty good dashboard there, and he's going to end up redeploying back in as MAXX. So he's kind of rebranding a little bit. We had Reflect Doge, which is another project by a really great developer there, and he had some burn mechanisms as well, and also rewards. I think in Scorcher or one of the other tokens. Let me see. There was another developer that brought in a project that had a full set swap as well. I mean, here's the thing. It's like, we want people that do come to develop on chain, to bring those types of utilities. We want them to, institute competition. You go to any other major blockchain right now, and you'll see that, they'll advertise 200, 300, 400 DApps launched on our chain. And you can go and click on swaps or dexes and see like 10 or 20 of them, or bridges. And that's just creates more economic activity within the chain itself. So, I mean, that's what we really are looking for. And anybody that does come to build on chain, we're more than willing to actually showcase their utilities on our website, and do so through a vetting process, ensure that their KYC, their project is safe, their contracts have been completely audited by our partner auditing company that we partner with, which is Cognitos. They're offering our MAXX Verify services. So we do have KYC and auditing services already tied into our actual chain that any developer can tap into to ensure that they can bolster their position and be more attractive to building a community and their users. So it's all completely getting interconnected the way we've set it up. That's why it's so important that when we launch this mainnet, it's not just a mainnet that it's completely bare bones, but it's completely fully ready to go.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And like you said, there were some people that did have some high volume and some good projects that were on Palm that could come over. Especially like you said, Ken with Scorcher. Um, I remember when that launched, and it did amazing until basically the Palm price uh, pretty much rugged it. But
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and it's funny you mentioned this, and this is why I'm so adamant about, yes, do we have a snapshot, and are we going to basically offer an opportunity to old holders to claim a one for one for what their bags were on OG chain? Yes. All right. Is that going to deter new investors because now they think that those people are going to dump? Sure. But the problem or the thing that people aren't thinking about is that all these old holders are already about 99% down on their investment of what their actual worth was with that bag, including myself. I was an investor in Palm. I had a bag. I'm 98% down. I mean, I'm not looking to sell my personal bag when I launch. I want to see what I had invested in it originally in Palm, and then see it through and flourish. And that's what we're trying to do here, rather than like give people an opportunity to just get out. And I think what a lot of people are not wanting to get out, I think they're getting excited because it's a new team. It's myself, it's Nyan. There's a new narrative. We're transparent. We're communicating. We're organized. We're delivering. We're executing. We have a complete different ecosystem and chain that we're setting up than what Palm Chain was. We're working with developers. We're lending out hands. We're collaborating. We're doing all the things that are necessary in order for investors to maybe reignite some confidence for those OG ones that do end up claiming and coming over. But like I said, out of the entire claimable supply of 400 million, I would probably, if I had to take a guess, we're probably going to see about a 50% of it not get claimed, which in itself is fantastic because it just reduces the amount of supply available even more. So,
yeah, exactly. Which I think the big problem with that happened with Palm is it was basically everybody was airdropped free tokens from another one previous, and it was just a mess. And it all got unlocked at once instead of the schedule it was supposed to go on.
well, it was the overvaluation too. And you know what? Here, I'll give you a good example. They launched Palm. Obviously, the native coin of a blockchain and any project is going to be pegged to it. It's a pair. So if the native coin is going to decline in value, your LP is declining, including your value as a project. So obviously, it doesn't matter how much buy pressure there is or how many holders you keep building. If the actual native coin is declining at a 99% rate from all-time high, it's going to put that sell pressure on you. So when you had developers come in early to the chain and let's say secure LP at like 5 cents, but there's still more to go to 0.00 whatever the last price was, you were going to have to bear that decline in valuation. Thus, it was going to reflect on your chart as a project. So one of the projects that actually decided to migrate over to, a lot of the projects were like, okay, we're going to leave. We're going to go to Arbitrum, or, when things were kind of declining in Palm, we're going to go to Arbitrum. And then also we'll go to CoreDAO. Well, same thing happened with CoreDAO. I'm seeing it right now. CoreDAO launched at an overvaluation, hit $5, and now it's sub $1. And guess what? Those projects that did go there and on day one secured LP at $5, they're exactly in the same boat.
Yeah,
So
and
that is
with your evaluation starting a lot lower, it in reality the theoretically there's more potential for upside than downside.
right. I mean, the listing price at 0.001. If you take into consideration, and I'm hypothetically speaking here right now, 270 million already burnt off the bat off a 1 billion supply. Let's say we get another 200 million off the actual claims that get sent to the burn wallet. So say we start with 470 or 500 million burnt, so half the supply already burnt. at a 0.001 price. I mean, it really actually is a $500,000 market cap blockchain that we're launching at. So, you know, you launch on the abyss and there's nowhere to go up, rather than launch up in the skies and the moons and there's nowhere but down to go.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you guys have been through this already, so you've taken that experience from what you witnessed over there and improved on it. And obviously, you do the math a little bit better than some others. I guess that goes back to Nayan's
Look,
accounting experience.
I was just about to
Uh,
say, I mean, look, I'm frugal with every dollar I have. So, whatever money we've had right now, I have everything documented, and we've been stretching every penny possible to get where we are right now. And I did want to throw in here and give a shout out to our dev. I mean, Dev and his team, they've been absolutely incredible. He's been honestly like on top of his game in terms of helping us get where we are right now. He's just as invested as we are in this whole project. He's not just a dev for hire; he's part of the team. So what he's done for us and what he's going to continue to do is going to be great for us. So we have a really good team here to get things going, and I think between KP and myself, and our managerial ability behind all of this, we'll be able to kind of take things further, where a lot of people might find a roadblock. So we're excited with all of this. We really are.
Yeah, but
and
I like to talk. So yeah, go ahead, Ken. Sorry. Go ahead, Papa. Cut you off.
oh, no. Go ahead and finish what you're going to say.
Yeah, no, I was gonna just touch upon the fact that, to only think that 3.5 weeks ago we were basically, okay, Palm is moving to a new chain or relaunching, abandoning the old one, to then spending 1 week to try to take over the old chain by stepping in, since it's proof of work and it was decentralized and the miners kept it alive. We tried to plug in to do that, to then all of a sudden realizing that was not feasible because certain supplies were not attainable for us to feel comfortable to to move on forward with it. And that's what led us ultimately to just launching our own chain and pre-mining our own supply the way we feel like supply should be allocated. So yeah, it's been literally like 3 weeks to this point. In 3 weeks we weren't even in this conversation really, that we were ready, like, okay, let's go ahead and start a chain. And then we decided to do it. And I mean, I feel very proud with where we're at only in 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You guys have moved some mountains and got a lot done. In the past 3 weeks, it's been pretty amazing to see it actually happen. Um, now, speaking of miners and powering the blockchain, providing security for the blockchain as well. How many miners do you have ready to go? That are going to be mining power off the rip.
Well, we have we have certain individuals in the mining group that's part of a community MAXX chain group that are ready, on standby. An exact number I can't figure out, but when we got ready to start that process, when we tried to take over the old chain, we did get one mining pool to actually switch over, and when we actually tapped into the block explorer and were able to change the ticker from palm to at that time we were calling it MAXC, but we ended up moving away from that and going to power just for the confusion of MAXX and MAXX token and everything. But there was one mining pool that went live, and then at one point the mining pool is it had about 100 miners on it right off the rip. So we're working with mining pools, and not so much in terms of like individual miners, but there's about 8 mining pools, I believe. They're already listed on our website that we're working to ensure that when we do go live on mainnet, that they're ready with their actual, when we provide them the RPC and the information for our new chain, to just enable that, go live and advertise it within their own community groups, because each one has extensive community groups with a couple thousand people and a couple thousand miners in there mining on their platforms. So we feel confident that we'll be able to secure the network right off the bat. But we're not going to stop there. I was just actually handed off a list of about 150 different mining pools that we're going to start reaching out to and start advertising and selling the idea of a new chain, and see if we can get some more miners on there. But during another AMA yesterday, I was pointed out to even mining through mobile, which was that project called Pi, and that's certainly something that would be super easy for adoption for just any individual if they were able to download a specific app and tap into to mine for us. So I don't know the extent of development that's required to bring something like that to market, but obviously that would be definitely something very cool that we could offer and very unique.
Yeah, definitely. I mined Pi years ago just because I was bored and it was free, so I did it. Now I've lost access to get into that app, and if it's ever worth something, I'll be kicking myself over that. But this is actually going to have value right off the start. So, I think a lot of people would definitely take advantage of something like that if you were to create that mobile app for mobile mining.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely something we would be open to, and obviously, something like that does also require additional funding and so forth. So, one step at a time. But we've already, as you said, climbed mountains. So you never know. Considering with what amount of money that we did spend to get to this point, if only I had the same budget of some other projects or another project that I know of. We would be even further than we are right now. But we're pretty confident that step by step, we can move forward. So, and that's one of the big reasons. Obviously, our MAXX tokens are very valuable, to the ecosystem. So, I do want to talk more about MAXX token and our MAXX presale and the value that those add, and obviously the opportunity that it provides to individuals to get a bag, stake it, and actually earn a blockchain coin that makes them pretty much almost instant holders, that they can actually use and come into the ecosystem and play around with, and maybe ape into some projects and do their due diligence and their research and use some of our on-chain tools like our token sniffer from a partner dev that offered it up for us, and ensuring that there's going to be integration for it on our chain. So, that gives you the ability as an investor to just take any smart contract, throw it in there, and it will tell you whether it's renounced, whether the LP is locked, whether it'll give you a complete list of holders and so forth to see if the distribution is healthy or not. It'll actually identify items within their contract on whether there's anything suspicious with regards to functions. So, I mean, we are putting all those tools together front and center on our website to ensure that we give investors, but also projects, the ability to have resources and tools to engage on our chain.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get into the staking and how that's going to work with the multi chains and different rewards.
Yeah, Nine can go over those and give you the difference between the staking that will be on MAXX chain, and then the other ones that are on BSC and or Ethereum.
Yeah, so initially on Palm Chain, we had our triple reward staking platform, and again, the staking platform that we had is not a traditional staking platform you see on tokens for the most part. I personally don't like traditional staking platforms and tokens, because really all it does is dilute your holdings. Projects usually just keep a set amount of tokens aside and push that over to the community, and they think they're getting more, but really it's just your supply is getting diluted in the end. But I mean, yeah, other ways of doing that can work, but the way we designed it is to have it kind of a mesh between a regular staking platform and a reflection token, in which the taxes from the volume of the token will be used to purchase the rewards, and those rewards are entered into the pool. So there's no dilution of supply, there's no dilution of your holding, and you're getting true rewards in that sense. On the MAXX chain side, we're going to have the three different pools. One is always going to be the native coin, which would be power. And the other two are interchangeable. So it's something that we can use as a team, as a marketing tool for other projects. Of course, if they go through the whole MAXX verification process, and again, it's not something that we would, truly vet. All projects would still be, we would advise people to do their own research. Of course, we're not going to be, even if with the MAXX Verify platform, we're not going to be advising people, it's 100% rug free or 100% safe. Everybody still has to do their own research, and but we'll still work with projects to help them, gain some momentum when coming on chain. So we're going to have that platform on the MAXX chain side, and again, like before, we're going to have 3 different staking terms: 6 days, 15 days, and 30 days. And of course, the longer you do it, the more you'll earn within that reward period. In terms of the staking rewards themselves, people always ask about the APYs, but it's all volume based. So it depends on how much volume is flowing through the token, and then those staking rewards are used to purchase the rewards that are put into the pool. So every month it'll change, and also it also depends on how many people are staking. So that's the staking platform on the MAXX chain side. And also a final note on that, for all the amounts that are staked and paid out as rewards, 10% is taken and used to buy back and burn both the MAXX token as well as PowerCoin. So that's one of the areas in which I mentioned before, in which we'll have that helps enforce the deflationary aspect of PowerCoin, as well as the MAXX token itself. Now, on the BSC and ETH sides, this is where things get a little interesting. So, individuals on those sides, normally it's not normal practice for people to actually earn a native blockchain coin on a different chain completely. Usually you'll get a pegged version of the token or whatever, but the way that we're going to have it set up is that individuals who buy, let's say, the BSC or ETH token, can stake their tokens, and based on the stake, it works the same way. There'll be like I mentioned before, the taxes accumulated will be used to purchase PowerCoin on the CEX, and then those coins will be entered into the pool, which will be paid out as rewards. Now, for the stakers, they log into the D app, and they're going to log into the BSC or ETH side, and to claim their rewards, all they'll need to do is change their network from BSC or ETH to MAXX chain, and they'll be able to claim their rewards. And now all of a sudden we've gained some new holders on the native chain. So it's one of the ways that we're going to try to bring people into the chain to hopefully interact with the chain and interact with the projects and stuff that we have on chain. And on those two sides, we're only going to be offering PowerCoin as rewards for staking. We're not going to be doing the triple rewards on those sides. And again, same thing in terms of the buyback and burn. There's going to be a portion held back in order to buy back and burn the tokens on each side, plus the PowerCoin itself. So that pretty much rounds up the staking platform. I don't know if you have any questions on that, if you want me to move on to the next.
Just one quick question. So on the MAXX chain side, if somebody is staking power to earn power, and those staking rewards are, bought with tax, but it's a zero tax token.
No, sorry, they're staking. You have to stake MAXX on MAXX chain. There's going to be a MAXX token that's paired with power, right? So we have MAXX token on the 3 chains. You have to stake your MAXX to earn power. So you stake your MAXX, and you can earn either power or 2 other projects that are on chain, depending on what's
I got
at that
you.
time. Yeah,
I got you. Sorry, I was a little confused on that one. I'm like, wait a minute. How is a zero tax token gonna buy tokens with tax?
Yeah, exactly. No, I understand. And see, that's the thing. There's been a lot of confusion, and of course, as you've seen, so many things have changed over the last few weeks. And I think that's why it's so important for us to have gotten our new website out. For anybody that's interested, just go check out maxchain.org. It's a very comprehensive website of everything to do with MAXX chain, the MAXX token ecosystem, We've got a robust knowledge base there for developers, for investors, for miners, and that stuff's getting updated at all times. So basically everything we're talking about is really detailed there. And I think, I'm proud to say that I think what KP and myself have put together there, and with the help with the developers there, really rivals other blockchain websites in terms of simplicity and content.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and speaking about taxes,
Okay.
we did have a conversation about taxes too, because the way our smart contracts are set up
Yeah.
on MAXX token, there's no way to increase taxes, but there's a way to decrease taxes. So our taxes right now are 6 and 8% on BSC, and they were going to be 6 and 8% on ETH. But I think considering the fact that gas has been astronomically ridiculous on the Ethereum network, we're going to probably reduce the actual taxes before we enable the coin live for trading from 6 to 8 down to, did we say 3 and 6? Is that right, 9?
Yeah, 3 and 6.
Awesome.
Yeah, 3 and 6. Yeah.
Awesome. And so how MAXX token is its own token. Power MAXX chain, has power with zero tax coming in from that. Where are the funds going to come from to market the actual blockchain?
So right now, what we will be working with is the ETH raise and the raise from the 100 million power coin pre-sale that we're going to have. Assuming we do fairly well on those, we'll have more than enough in order to ensure that we meet our short-term goals. Of course, as a going concern, we'd have to continue to make sure we receive revenues in order to continue building and to continue marketing and so on and so forth. So yeah, we do have a percent on each of the tokens that's going to be going back to our marketing wallet that'll help us push with that, as well as the small fees that are going to be incurred between the on-chain utilities that are provided by MAXX. So, like KP was mentioning before, there's a small percentage on the swap, a small percentage on the bridge, a small percentage on the pools, and so on and so forth. And all of these on-chain utilities will bring in a little bit of percentage based on the volume, and some of that will go towards burning MAXX coin, and then the other portion of it will come to us in terms of helping us with ongoing marketing and development and so on and so forth. And like I said, that's why it's so crucial that the developer that we have on team, we have him there. So it's not like if anything needs to happen, he's going to be like, hey, you got to pay me first. No, he's part of the team. He's going to make sure things happen. And whatever else other costs we need to take care of, we'll have that. So again, trying to be as cost efficient as possible, but ensuring that we continue to get revenues in different areas in order to keep us going. That's right. The plan.
And also, don't forget, like the bridge, for instance, as we onboard projects that may utilize our bridge, there'll probably be an initial fee. We have not disclosed or discussed in depth what that fee was going to be. We're going to make it very easy for them, like a very attainable fee, nothing insane. But there will be an initial fee to get added to the bridge. And then obviously, part of the fees that come from the actual, bridging over in and out of those tokens, that is additional revenue for the ecosystem in general. So the other utility that we haven't spoken about in depth, which is Ignite QR, that utility it's a utility offered by a software solutions company that I are actually involved in, and we decided that it was a very instrumental piece to add to the ecosystem, because what it does is it monetizes word of mouth for communities, and it actually gives the power to project owners to identify how hard certain community members are working to shill their projects. Because right now, the way that a lot of projects try to engage their community is to force them to go ahead and shill a tweet or lock the chat and do that, And then, you just kind of sit back and hope and pray that your community does right and does, goes out there and starts shilling, or they start spending money on shill, on people that are out there raiding, right? Raiders or whatever, like, hey, I'll raid if you pay me this. But what we've developed is a dashboard that actually an individual within a community can actually go into that dashboard. If that said project is actually signed up with Ignite QR, they'll be able to generate a unique QR code for that specific project. That individual then can take that QR code and go shill. And anytime an individual takes that QR code and scans it, it takes them back to the actual Ignite QR dashboard, which then there'll be a swap router that's tied into MAXX Swap. But also BSC and Ethereum, Uniswap and PancakeSwap is going to be actually integrated into it with a universal router. So this utility is not just offered strictly for MAXX chain projects. It can be cross-chain completely, but this individual that does share that QR code, the minute somebody else takes that QR code, comes to the swap and actually makes a buy on the chart, it helps the actual project, and in return, then there are rewards that are released to that first individual that worked to shill the project. So it takes that word of mouth and that effort to go out and shill and actually provide somebody with actual something monetary to do that effort. So it's pretty unique. And, that's going to be a subscription service for projects. So, there's revenue there, that can be utilized in some fashion. But, for the most part, though, it's still another great tool of selling to, hey, why should I come and build on MAXX chain? Well, we have a utility that can not only help you build on MAXX chain, but help you actually engage your community and build your community up and your chart at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. And this was actually, I'm glad that you guys are utilizing this, because this was actually shilled to me last year by Steve. So I know, I knew exactly what you were talking about when you started talking about it.
Yep, and that right now is in testing, believe it or not, since last. Yep. So not since last year, but development did take place. So we're in testing at this point.
Yeah, and this could also be good for influencer tracking, or actually just for influencers. Period.
Call groups, influencers, everybody
get projects to list on there, and then they can share their code with their communities, and get some income as well from that.
And another actual another item that we're actually offering to projects within our website, if you take notice, is it's called MAXX Launch. So basically, it's a service that we'll offer to projects to help new project owners or anybody that's coming on chain that might be bombarded with what do we need to do to get started, or roll the process from A to Z. We would offer packages to help the project launch from A to Z. We'll help them through that entire process in terms of contracts, developers, the services, helping put things together. I mean, it's not something that we're going to put our stamp of approval on, because the projects are still their own owners, and they need to manage themselves. But in terms of launching on chain, it's a service we're going to offer, and of course for that would come at a cost, and something that would come to us as revenue to help push us forward as well.
Yep. And also kind of wanted to ask, have you been in touch with any influencers as far as people that are willing to call projects that are on MAXX chain? Because that's going to be, a lot of people just follow, some Telegram callers, and, that's where they get, find out what projects are out there, what projects are launching. And I think that was a kind of an issue for a few different, chains, like Palm itself. There weren't too many people calling Palm projects. Poo Chain.
Yeah,
There's nobody calling Poo Chain projects.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that should be on the table of something else that we engage with as an external stakeholder. We have a list of external stakeholders that we need to make sure that we engage with, from Dex Tools to Dex Screener, to ensure that basically when we go live with mainnet, that our actual chain is on Dex Tools, so that way people can actually see trending projects and so forth. But yeah, that's another piece of the puzzle that definitely is in this space and obviously is needed. Believe it or not, when MAXX was on Palm Chain, and our MAXX token on Palm Chain, went from a 20K market cap all the way up to almost like 1.8 million or something like that. I mean, it had an amazing run. But I did see that we had, I wouldn't say an influencer, but he was a caller of a group somewhere in the Middle East with maybe like 1,000 or 1,500 people in his group, because he would kept posting, like our chart, and here comes a breakout, and I told you, I called it 4x or 10x or 20x, and it was starting there in the end, at least with our token itself. But yes, I think it is important that we at least have some partnerships out there.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Poppa,
definitely.
I'll call Max Chain
Hey,
tokens.
there we go.
And we got
Crypto
Poppa Stonks
Ken, you
too.
heard it.
We got Poppa
Yeah, you
Stonks
heard
here
it.
too.
What's
You
up,
heard
Ken?
it here first. Ken is going to be a MAXX Chain caller.
Yes,
But
sir, Ken.
actually, Ken does have a lot of influence with these chains, the smaller chains. So as far as, well, even like when Palm was still alive, um, and Arbitrum and all these other chains. So I think that would definitely be very beneficial, because the people that are following him are predisposed to some of these.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely something that'll help out with, I mean, a lot of people know, the reason why I started to pull away when it came to Palm Chain, and obviously people kind of saw, the things I said, and the worries that I had obviously came to fruition. It wasn't the way that I wanted to see things go down. But, obviously people that may have hated me or been mad at me in the past kind of understand everything now. And I think a lot of people kind of wish, they would have listened a little bit more to what I was seeing and what was going on at that time. But with this, it's really nice to be able to get past that. I did want to jump on and vouch for KP and Nyan as well. That's why I personally, I will confirm, yes, I will be relaunching on their chain. I will be helping push their chain, and I do fully vouch for Nyan and KP. So I mean, when the people that are at the top of the chain, you're actually able to fully trust. It makes it, a no-brainer decision for me to try to go over there and help them out as well.
Well, we appreciate that, Ken.
100%.
Yeah, man, appreciate that, brother.
100%. Thanks, Ken. All right. Well, is there anything that we have not touched on that you guys wanted to touch on real quick? And then I was going to open it up for questions.
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on what we have right now. I actually sent over to your chat our timeline, which is something I update on a weekly basis for our community. I think it's important that we stay transparent and open with the community. And I mean, you won't make everybody happy, but as long as you do things the right way, you're doing things, you'll be doing good for most of them, I always want to be transparent what we're doing, and I think what we're accomplishing is we're always trying to under promise and over deliver. So what we have here right now, we have our ETH presale, and for us, that's what our focus is on. And I know a lot of people have come to us and asked about, you guys aren't paying any love to BSC token, and you guys are going to ETH launch, and the truth is these two launches are very important pieces of our ecosystem. And for some people, it might not be as apparent because, there's a lot to take in here as to what we're doing and how we're putting it together. And that's why I urge people really, it was so important to get this website together to really showcase all of that. So I really urge people to go through the website, go through every corner of it, and really understand what we're building here and how these pieces are important for that puzzle. And for us, getting this, at least the soft cap, is what's going to keep us going. We've always thought of contingency plans in the worst case scenarios, but for now we really want to push this and hope that we can move forward once this pre-sale is done.
100%. All right, guys. Let me open it up for any questions from the audience. You guys just unmute one at a time. I know Reebok had a question earlier. Reebok, you still got a question, or did I ask it for you already?
Hello, Papi.
Hey, buddy, how you? Yeah.
I'm good, and you?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
I have this question. Can I go? Can I go on?
Yeah. Go ahead and ask.
All right. So this question, you said on your website that the team with the most deposits each week wins a share of the lottery. Am I right?
Oh, the Lotto D app? Yeah. We didn't
We
really
didn't even touch on that.
So my question here is
Good catch, Reebok.
all right. So my question here is, are you guys just gonna leave the other team behind due to them they were not able to deposit enough, in this thing to deposit enough, or or do you have anything to give them, or like to console them for a sense of like encouragement to do better next time? And also, the team that win, are they also eligible to win next due to the deposits that they can deposit?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Nine, go ahead and give him the rundown on how the actual Lotto MAXX is going to work.
So first I'll just run down the actual Lottery D app itself because we didn't really touch on that. So the Lottery D app is going to be set up similar to how Powerball is set up in the States, or Lotto Max we have here in Canada, where you select out of 30 numbers you're going to select 3 numbers, and basically there'll be a weekly lottery for that, and basically you need to match all 3 numbers in order to win the weekly prize pool. So that in terms of that, there's going to be ticket sales that go through the D app, and anybody can purchase the tickets. You don't have to be a holder on MAXX. You don't have to be a holder on the BSC or each side. Anybody can purchase those tickets. Now, in terms of how it's going to work, is that the money accumulated from there plus a small portion from the taxes are going to be used to buy MAXX token on the MAXX chain side. And that is because we're trying to drive the volume on MAXX chain itself. So that's the main reason as to why the purchase is going to be done on the MAXX chain side. And whoever wins the pool, if there's multiple people, it'll split, and there's going to be a guaranteed winner every week. That individual will earn that, and they can do whatever they like with that. So now, what we're trying to do is drive the volume on the MAXX chain, MAXX token on MAXX chain. So you'll have, the stakers on that side will keep earning the rewards. Now, I know the BSC and ETH sides, they're going to wonder, okay, well, what's going on with us now? On each pool, there's going to be a portion of the winnings that will be held aside and used towards buyback and burn on tokens on all 3 sides. And of course, with the bridge, once the bridge is open, you have the ARB opportunities between the 3 sides. If people want to come in and jump in on the MAXX chain side, that'll, they're completely open to do that. And of course, with the volume on the MAXX chain side, the ARB opportunities will probably be open on the other 2 chains as well, because if this volume is being driven on one side, you'll have some fluctuations in price that you'll be able to take advantage of. So again, this is stuff that we've kind of derived on our end in terms of trying to figure out different scenarios and calculations to see in terms of numbers how this will work. And in based on what we've calculated and what we thought about, it seems like it'll kind of create its own ecosystem, reoccurring ecosystem in terms of volume on all three chains. So, of course, we won't know for sure until this starts to play out, but we're fairly confident that this will work out in the benefit of every holder on all three chains.
Also, answer Nayan and KP. I really heard everything you said, and I really understand everything. On Poppa Stonks, can I ask another question if you don't mind?
Of course.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. So the second question is on what plans on strategy, what facilities have you guys put in place to make this token one of the strongest token in history, bringing generational wealth to many holders, investors. Sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah, I'm not sure I got the question.
Yeah, can you
Right.
repeat
What
the last part? Was
plans?
it
On what strategy and utilities have you guys put towards the project to make this project one of the strongest in the history and bringing generational wealth to many holders and investors?
so you're talking about the MAXX tokens, correct?
Oh yes, Nayan.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So basically, like we alluded to before, we have the three major utilities: the staking, the Lotto D app, and the Ignite QR utility. That's all going to be centered around the MAXX tokens themselves. So and the Ignite QR utility, in terms of the engagement dashboard that KP was referring to before. Remember that we're going to have 100 million coin tokens set aside from each chain for this rewards dashboard. So the engagement factor should be fairly high in terms of users, because all that is there and free to earn as rewards once you start using the tool. So that's going to be front and center in terms of
Community
spotlight
growth
on the tool
spotlight.
and exactly spotlight on the tool and community growth and engagement. So now those are what we're working at right now, because we're not going to come out with a huge roadmap of utilities that are coming way later in the future. Right now we're focused on those because that's going to take time to come out. That's going to take time to promote and market, and of course we're not going to end it at that point. So we did mention in the white paper that as we get closer to the full production and deployment of all these utilities, we're going to be going back to the table to ensure that we have additional utilities for the tokens coming out, because in the short term things can dry up, and we want to keep the engagement on these tokens. We want these tokens to always be some of the top tokens on the chain going forward. We don't want this to die down, and we will rely heavily as a team on those tokens to do well, to keep doing what we want to do on this chain. So that's what we have right now, and that's the plans going forward.
Awesome, Nayan and KP. Thank you very much, Poppa Stonks, for the good opportunity. I really appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Great project.
Thank you. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you,
it.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
Great questions.
in essence, this is just the beginning. There's a lot of more stuff and meat and potatoes that we can add to it. I mean, we're talking with, another big thing is we're talking about partnering with certain projects or companies that are actually companies, but that can offer oracles also on our blockchain. A little further down the road, it's not really something that's needed immediately, because we require projects that may want to build on our chain that do require oracles and stuff like that, with like developing randomness utilities and so forth. But just rest assured, like, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle that can continuously add to build the breadth of the actual chain itself, as well as additional utilities that can continuously add value through the MAXX tokens. So this is what we have so far, which I think as of right now is a lot. The other thing we want to ensure is we don't chew too much off than we can handle. We want to make sure that everything's methodical, step by step, rather than offering the world that we and everything, and we cannot actually hit that mark. So we want to under promise and over deliver.
That's always the way to go, man. Never, always under promise and attempt to over deliver. not setting hard dates, you know, for any certain thing, because anything can happen at any time, and it's just not good to have that FUD coming in if something isn't released on a specific minute that's been announced. Um, so, is there anybody else out here that has any questions for the team? See some people in here. We've got Manny, Freestyle. Anything that I have not touched on that anybody wants to learn about? All right. Well, with that said, you guys want to give us some final closing statements? One last call to action. Why people should be, jumping into this ETH pre-sale or buying the BSC tokens, um, and getting ready for the power pre-sale.
Yeah, I mean, right now in terms of opportunity, risk reward opportunity, I mean, it doesn't get anything better than this. We're offering a layer one proof of work ecosystem with the opportunity of getting into our MAXX tokens that are going to be very favorable market caps, because we do expect those to grow as we continue on. It gives you the opportunity to start earning a layer one coin on a new chain that is actually going to launch fully ready rather than bare bones. So if you're looking for a good team that is transparent, has business experience, and is treating this as a business, and every step of the way ensuring that we're putting the investors in our community first and thinking of them first, well, then you're in the right place. So, this is going to be a steady, consistent growth project. It's a long-term project. This is with everything going on now in the recent weeks with Pepe and all that stuff, and your pumps and dumps and all your rugs. Yeah, we're not that. So we do not want to be associated with it. We're not a quick get rich overnight type of project. We offer an opportunity, for you guys to join a journey that will take time, but it's going to be a very, very, very fun one.
Yeah, I echo what KP said, and the one thing I'll add to that is that we look at this as a business, and I keep saying that we are going to treat this as a business. So for you, if your investment comes into MAXX, whether it's through MAXX chain or the power token or the pre-sale that we have right now in ETH, just know that we're treating this as a business, as it should, and we're going to do our best in terms of using our skills to make sure that this business is successful.
Awesome, man. And thank you guys for coming back and giving us these updates. I'm sure we'll have many more in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure of it too.
Definitely, a staple of Astronaut Lounge here. As we've been with you guys since the beginning. So
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
definitely look forward to keep updating the community with everything that's going on over there. And I really encourage everybody to go and join the TG, check out all their socials, their website. Do some research, and if you have any questions, they are always there to answer them in the chat. Or you can tag one of them here, and they'll answer you here. But yeah, thank you guys again. Awesome AMA. Thank you everybody for attending. Been another awesome AMA, Astronaut Lounge. And